I want to talk about something that's kind of embarrassing, but it's it's about reading. And I hate it because I know reading is a whole discussion right now and how kids can't read and adults can't read either. But with me, I know I can read. I know I am able to fucking read. But I have struggled with reading for a very long time. And it's not in the sense that I can't read. I'm bad at focusing on reading. Now, maybe that's looped in with the whole reading discussion right now. When I was a kid, my mom would bring books home because she was an educator. She would bring all kinds of books home and she would have me sit down and read those books, trying to make sure that I was educated on multiple topics, like including like science and history and all of these things and just making sure that I was consistently reading stuff and reading books. And I love her for that. But what I realized, her giving me something to read that I didn't fucking care about made me not want to read. If anything, it made me struggle to read because I don't give a fuck about frogs. I don't give a fuck about these reptiles, even though I like snakes now. I don't give a fuck about, because I'm thinking about the book she gave me that had like frogs on the cover and it was just about science. And I'm like, science is really not my interest. It's not my forte. So it was hard for me to get through those books and to care about the content that I was reading. If anything, like, yeah, I would read the words and the paragraphs and stuff, but would I absorb anything? Not really. From a young age, I realized that if I'm given something that I don't give a fuck about to read, it's going to be hard for me to want to read it. And I think this goes like into when I got into high school and when you have to read more stuff, especially in the classes I struggled with because they did not pique my interest at all. And I just had to get through them. Like with history. I know history is important to know. For the love of God, having to read anything history related, just I couldn't do it. Like certain things in history interested me, but most of it I could give less of a shit about reading it. So it's like if I had to go to class knowing material, I probably wouldn't know much. Or I would try to find the fucking Cliff Notes version of it. I just knew that I could not get through this entire, all these pages, this passage, just, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And as a kid also, I would read to my grandma. Like that's what was one of our bonding moments, our bonding times was I get a book that interested me, whether it was from Barnes and Noble or maybe a book fair. We would be in her room and I would just be reading to her. While she was sitting in her chair, I would be on the bed. It was a very high bed. And I would just be reading. And we would go through like the words that I didn't know. She would tell me what they mean. And if I struggled with pronouncing something, she would tell me how to correctly pronounce it. And it was also good because we were able to like discuss what I was reading and discuss the story and discuss foreshadowing and the characters. Ugh, the good old days, honestly. I kind of miss doing that with my grandma. It was enough to motivate me to want to get into reading it. But the thing that I realize I'm struggling with nowadays is even finishing books. This may also speak to my attention span because my attention span is terrible. But there was a point where I was definitely reading more manga, but it was mainly because I am into anime and I was starting to collect manga. For example, there was a point during COVID where I ordered literally like half of Dead Man Wonderland and I finished the first half in like a day or two. Mainly because I was invested into the story. But I know people say like they may criticize you for reading comics because they're not chapter books. There's a few words on a page and some speech bubbles and a bunch of pictures. Pretty much a picture book. Do read more than picture books. I have I have literal textbooks that I have bought out of interest. I have linguistic textbooks. Yes, I'm a fucking nerd. I have linguistic textbooks on my shelf that I would really love to get through and have definitely started reading. The thing with me in reading though is that I can't focus on it. It is hard for me to focus on the books even that I love, and I think that's the frustrating part. I want to read all of these books. I get excited when I see a book that piques my interest. I get excited when I see a linguistic textbook that is about something like if it's about sociolinguistics or language acquisition or about a language that I'm learning, or even if it's like a workbook for a language that I'm learning. I have a handful of short story books. I have one for Portuguese. I have one for Russian. I have one for Spanish and French. I have I have so many language learning resources. Not even funny. Or manga. I love manga. I'm the kind of person who wants to have a big manga collection. And I realized after I went on Reddit, my collection is nothing because people have thousands of volumes in their collection. I want to get there. If you look at my Amazon wishlist, it's a bunch of box sets and series that I want to complete and put on my shelf. Because I love anime, but I love reading manga, and I like also having the physical copies. People are like, why don't you just read the manga online? I like holding my books. I've never been the kind of person who can read a book on a screen. Like I used to do that, but I just like holding my books, and I like collecting books. It's hard to explain too because someone could be like, are you good? Like why the fuck can't you focus on reading a book? So let me set the scene. Let me set the scene. I could open a book that I just bought and have been excited to read ever since I fucking ordered it. And I could start reading it. I could get like a good amount of pages in. I could get like a chapter 2 in. But even within reading those chapters, my mind tends to wander, and like things will distract me that probably shouldn't. Like things just around me in my environment will distract me, or my mind will just kind of want to turn towards those things. Or that drive or that motivation that I had to read the book initially will disappear for the future times that I would want to read that book. Another thing is environment. The environment is very important to me. I'm very specific on the environment that I need to have in order to read a book. I cannot, like, it's gonna sound so stupid. I need the sun to be out. If I'm going to read near my window or be outside, the sun has to be out. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just more peaceful for me. I know the sun is like a motivator for me because it's just like very warm and shit. But I literally have had times where I go to my favorite park in the city, I bring a bunch of books, and I'm just reading and reading and reading. It does help. It helps me a lot. So distractions, my environment, the impulse that I have continuously buy books, which I absolutely hate. As I mentioned, I have a lot of manga. Not as many as the collectors have. I'll get there one day, but I have a lot of manga. I have a lot of box sets. Like if I look at my shelf right now, I have both Tokyo Ghoul box sets. I have the Chainsaw Man box set, which I've already read most of that. I have the Toilet Bound Hanako-kun box set. I have the Demon Slayer box set. And there's plenty other box sets I want. There's a JJK box set coming out at the end of the year, even though, and as many other people have agreed, the art for the box is extremely underwhelming for fucking JJK. There's a box set that is out for Hell's Paradise. There's a box set coming out for Gachiakuta. There's a box set for a bunch of animes that I've either finished or haven't finished. Like, if I can remember off the top of my head, I want the one for Assassination Classroom. I want the ones for Quintessential Quintuplets, Rosario plus Vampire, Ouran High School Host Club. There's a lot of box sets that I want, and just also series. Like I want As Miss Beelzebub Likes It. I want Rooster Fight. I want I'm gonna need for Beastars. I know people call Beastars fans furries. I'm not a fucking furry. Beastars is really good, okay? I refuse to buy any more volumes until that box set comes out. I absolutely need it anyway. I get excited to engage in a story. I will continuously buy manga or want to buy manga even though I haven't finished any of the other ones. That's the general theme with me. I get this excitement to buy a book, to absorb knowledge. I buy the thing, even though I already have a bunch of books that I haven't finished. And the cycle continues. I will get that book. I will be interested in it initially and have the motivation to read it initially, but then it'll just sit on my shelf forever until I randomly feel like reading, or until I am able to plan going out to certain spots where the suitable environment for me to get through the books. Like I mentioned, going to the park and the sun having to be out, which is so specific. I think part of the reason that I get anxiety about this too, I have so many options. So when I do want to read something, I literally have all of these options in front of me. And it may sound stupid, like why can't you just pick one? There's so many. And that drive to want to read all of them, know all of the story, get all of the knowledge overwhelms me again. And I've tried so many different things to help me with this. Audiobooks. If my attention span's already bad when I'm trying to read words on a page, I don't think audiobooks will do me any good because I'll just start daydreaming and then I'll have to rewind like 10 minutes. I've tried another process which may sound a little tedious, but where I get multiple books and I do a rotation, kind of like the Pomodoro method, where I read a book for 10 minutes and then I'll stop for 5 minutes and then I'll read another book for 10 minutes and I'll stop for 5 minutes and so on and so forth. And I'll do it until I've read 6 books for 10 minutes each, which adds up to about an hour minus the 5-minute breaks. I've only done this a few times and I feel like it kind of helps, but even so, it's like the motivation could deplete just like that. Reading books is fun. I love reading books. And I miss the days where I was able to finish books. And I know there's a million other factors to my life that contribute to my motivation with my hobbies. It sucks. I love books and I have books that interest me and I want more books that interest me, but I'm stuck in this cycle where I continuously buy books out of like this spark in motivation or interest. And I've had to literally like stop myself from buying any more books until I finish the ones that I have. Not being in the right environment, not being able to focus. It sucks. I hate it. And like I said, this is like an embarrassing video to make because everyone's talking about how adults and kids can't read right now. But this is really a struggle that I have. When I'm actually able to sit and read one of my books for a long period of time, I actually get so happy and I'm proud of myself. And I wish I could feel those victories more often. Another thing that this has made me think about, and disclaimer, I'm not self-diagnosing here. This is just something that I've wondered for a while and I still need to go to a professional about it. But this is part of the reason why I wonder if I have ADHD. People have thought that I have ADHD. Like they're like, you don't have ADHD? I'm like, no, I don't know. Like so many people have thought that I have ADHD or something that it's become a joke that I'm not going to beat the ADHD allegations whenever I do go finally get tested. It's on Reddit too, and with ADHD have talked about their struggles with reading, and I relate to them. Fucking relate to them so bad. Now, of course, this does not mean that I have ADHD. Just because I relate to things that someone with ADHD has doesn't mean that I have it. But it's one of those things that makes me wonder why the fuck I can't complete these things like maybe other people can. Because very much so I could not have ADHD and maybe it's just something else. Maybe it's just me. That's it for this video. Random yap session again about reading. Let me know if you relate to anything that I said. But yeah, that's it. And until the next video, whatever I talk about.